Thanks so much, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you joining us for our first episode of Late Night Talk Show Revival. I'm your host. My name's Dymon Thomas, and let's get started. What do you say? All right, well, first things first, the Super Bowl. Who watched the Super Bowl? I know I did. Had a great time, great commercials. We had the Seahawks demolish the New England Patriots. It was a good game. A lot of outspoken Christians on the Seahawks. Don't know if you knew that. And then the Patriots actually took a team trip out to Israel this year. So it was a big day for the God of Abraham, right? Definitely great for all Christians and Jews. Benjamin Netanyahu reportedly not a huge fan of the results of the game. He was incredulous and reportedly tweeted, "No way!" He was in disbelief. "No way!" He couldn't believe it. To which the Pope replied, "Yahweh." Our Chicago Pope, ladies and gentlemen. May the Lord bless you in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost there. Gotta love our Chicago Pope. In other sports news, the Olympics are back. The Olympics, we love the Olympics. The world's greatest athletes coming together to compete and see us the honor of winning that gold, silver, bronze, right? And opening ceremony generated a lot of buzz this time around, as it usually does, right? A lot of folks thought it was maybe over the top, bit ostentatious with all the esoteric symbology and whatnot. What does it all mean, right? And I say, I don't know if we're even at the top to go over the top. It was probably under the top. You got to think, they're trying to convey the magnitude of every country, all these athletes from all over the world, every color, every nation, every creed coming to bow before their dark lord Moloch. They're going to do a big number for something like that. It's a momentous occasion. No, but in weather, we've actually had some crazy ice storms across the eastern side of the country recently. Snowstorms, ton of it, and on top of there just being a lot of it, the snow itself is showing some very strange characteristics, right? Conspiracy theorists are starting to go nuts. Smells like plastic a little bit, isn't melting, and when it does, it has a weird stringy appearance. Yeah, Nick Fuentes reportedly tweeted to Marjorie Taylor Greene, "I told you those clouds were looking kind of Jewy." Nick Fuentes, reportedly not a big fan of the Jewish people. That's all right. We like all colors, nations, creeds, and religions here on the show. And then finally, Epstein files. Oh, good gracious. We just cannot catch a break, can we, ladies and gentlemen? No good news this week. But 3 million plus pages of vindication for your crazy uncle and or cousins, right? We all called them crazy. Oh man, we're gonna have some, next Thanksgiving dinner is definitely gonna be an interesting one, I'll say that much. But no, you gotta understand the initial disbelief. It's hard to believe such an outrageous claim, right? And I get that. Just imagine if your friend came to you and said, "Hey, our mutual friend Frank, well, yeah, what about him? He's a plate pooper. I caught him. He's a what? A plate pooper. Well, he spent the night after we had a party. I didn't want him driving. And about 3 a.m., I hear some noise downstairs. I thought maybe a raccoon got in. I start going downstairs, and something smells like mustard and burnt hair. It's a really strange smell. And I will walk into the kitchen, and there's Frank. What's he doing? He doesn't have any pants on. He doesn't have any pants on? Why'd he pull his pants down? No, he didn't pull his pants down. He doesn't have any pants. And what's he doing? He's got a charger. He's got my wife's china, fine china, and he's got it like this. And he's dropping a dooski in my kitchen. Blank face. I don't know if he's sleepwalking or what, but he put it on the counter. He walked right past me, no pants, no shame, and went straight to bed. Now, the first time you hear this story, you're probably going to defend Frank, because it's just so crazy that I've known Frank for years. That couldn't be so, right? But after the second time, the third time, right, they're getting details right, mustard and burnt hair. I mean, that's a particular smell, right? After dozens of friends and years, right, Frank comes to you and he says, "Listen, I've known you all my life. We're best friends. You've always stuck up for me. I can't keep this secret any longer. I'm a plate pooper. The rumors are true. Now, if that friend is shocked at this point, he's either retarded or implicated, right? Oh no, Frank's just a wonderful house guest. Oh, sure. Right? Oh, congratulations going on a vacay again this year. That's great. You say you need a house sitter. Sure, I know just the guy. He's great with pets, he's punctual, he's definitely not a plate pooper, and what's that? Nothing. Thursday, you said? Thursday through Tuesday? Sure thing, I'll forward you his number. All right, we got a great first show for you today. No guests on this first episode, but we have some really funny segments, and we'll start with our guests, I think, on the next show. We're going to do once a week type of thing, and if you have a good time and you feel so inclined, do me a favor and hit that like, subscribe, share, all the buttons, do all the things and all that good stuff, and yeah, let's get it started.
Show. All right, thank you guys for coming out. Appreciate it. Please help me welcome our next comedian.
Just can't go and change the stripes. I fooled you once, I fooled you twice, and I'ma do it again. Can't keep a fox out of chicken pen. I'm a man who needs to go my own way, baby. So don't you go and try to change me. Tell me you can't, and you know I will. Tell me don't go and I keep moving. Baby, tell me I can't, and you know I will.
All right, so for our first segment on our very first episode, I want to address an issue that's been in the forefront of my mind. It's in the forefront of my soul. It's been an issue plaguing this nation for some time, and it's gotten completely out of hand. We've got to address it. Something has to be done about these robocalls. It's like you can't even use the phone anymore. You know what I mean? And as a business owner, I can't exactly, just ignore every unfamiliar phone number. You know what I mean? Now, time was, all you had to do was ask, are you a robot? It was an impenetrable defense for any would-be robo-caller, robo-scammer, skeezer, or skimmer. There's nothing they could do. Now, in 2026, it's a different story. The honor system is no match for today's AI, ladies and gentlemen. So, we're gonna go over my top 3 favorite ways to screen for robocallers. Let's get started with the first way that I developed completely on accident. I was pissed off without thinking. I picked up the phone and I said, "What is it?" Why is this effective? I'll tell you why. Because a human being is gonna go, "Hi, I'm calling about your..." But a robot is completely unfair. A robot has no idea that that's not how you answer the phone. And so they're gonna jump right into a pitch, and you can hang right up on that clanker. Number two, why did I develop this if it's so successful? Well, I developed the number 2 method because, hey, as cathartic as it might be, the last method is not really great for business, right? So I had to think of something that I could use that maybe wouldn't piss off every would-be customer and lose me sales, right? And so I call it movie phone. And this is how it goes. Brr, brr. I don't know this number. Brr, brr. Hello! Uniformly, I'm met with silence by robots. And then a human will probably laugh. They'll do something. A robot, this actually stuns the robot because they think they're talking to another robot. Now, you give that second hello, make sure you do it exactly the way you did the first one, right? Like you're replaying an audio file. Hello! Hello! Click, dial tone. Every time. Every time. I am not lying to you when I say 100% success rate. You're welcome. Now, if there's a number 2 method, wait, if it's 100% success rate, why is that the number 2 method, you might ask? And I'll tell you why. Because I'm thinking ahead. We haven't even hit the singularity, ladies and gentlemen. This is like the very first baby steps AI is taking into telesales. So we gotta be prepared for what comes next. Now, I predict that one day you're gonna pick up the phone. Hello!
Hello, sir. This is Irene. I called to ask about your Medicare Part A, Part D, Part D.
And maybe you have a sneaking suspicion that this isn't quite human. It sounds pretty realistic. And you say, "Are you a robot, Irene?" Keeping the movie phone voice going. And she goes,
No, sir. And I'll thank you to refrain from using anti-robotological nomenclature, sir.
to which you can reply, "I'm so sorry, Irene. I don't know what I was thinking. Let me go get my credit card." Or do you take a 1011001011001011001001?
Yes, sir. We do take a check, and if you...
And she's given herself away. See, they'll never be human. They might be smart. They might be able to create incredible music and stunningly realistic fingers and hands, but we'll always be able to outsmart them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that serves you well into the dystopian hellscape that is our future. And with that, we're going to take our very first ad break. We'll be right back with an open mic spotlight. Really great mic if you're in Phoenix or if you're in town for a gig or for whatever reason. This is a really great open mic to check out. And yeah, we'll be right back. What's up, Art Knockers? I'm Dymon Thomas, and this is your #1 source for local laughs here on the Phoenix scene. And last night we went to check out JP's comedy showcase. I went and met Billy Gay Cyrus there, along with another comedian that we know in the local scene. Had a great time, and we went to support the homie Nick Stamos. Now, they did have a bunch of other local comics there that did a great job, but in my opinion, Nick was hilarious. The laughs per minute, the jokes per minute, he is a master.
I look this way because my mom, she's German, Irish, and Scottish, and then my dad, well, he's a leprechaun. Thank you, sir. I was driving down the freeway, or getting on the freeway the other day, and there was a guy standing there holding a sign, and it said, "Please spread some cheese on this cracker." I thought that was pretty funny. He was a white guy, it's kind of racist on himself. I thought the sign was funny, so I rolled my window down, and I was like, "Hey, Dad, get back in the van." Give it up for JP's Comedy Club.
After the headliner, they voted on the winner of the showcase, and wasn't Nick this time, but man, they were all really great comics, and I had a blast, dudes. Don't forget to follow for more local comedy content, and we'll catch you next time. Peace. Okay, are we back? Okay, and we're back. So, you know, for musicians, for comedians, poets, any kind of performing art, an open mic night is a great place to get started, get your feet wet. You know, speaking in front of people can be a really intimidating thing. So, and a lot of times these things are mixed, music and comedy, or music and poetry, or all three. I used to host an open mic way back in the day at a 24-hour cafe. That was incredible, because if we wanted to keep going, artists kept coming. Sometimes we were booked all the way till 2, 3 in the morning, and it was just cool. You know, they were down to get the business and everything. It was fun, but anyway, I digress. Really great open mic hosted by a Mr. Eric Scott, who you can find online at Eric Scott Comedy on Instagram. I think Dustin Hadlock Productions might be somehow involved in that. I'm not sure. I'm still kind of new in the Phoenix comedy scene, but I always see Eric Scott there hosting and whatnot. And at Butler's Easy, this is Monday nights. at 7 p.m. I believe is when it starts, and a really great speakeasy, really chill vibe. They've got a back patio. It's always got chill people, and it's a bar with an espresso machine. I'm not a big drinker, so I love being able to go in and just get a latte or just a black coffee or something like that, and not just having the AA meeting style coffee machine, drip coffee, and with the orange top and the black top for decaf and regular, right? And which is unfortunately what a lot of bars have, but it's a speakeasy, so great environment. And we're gonna run a spot right here from the last time I was over at the Butler's Easy open mic, again Monday nights at 7 p.m. on 7th Street and Butler. All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're enjoying yourself so far. We had a promo cut for the open mic over there at Butler's Easy, but the comedian pulled out last second. He didn't want to burn his best material, which is fine. I can respect that. So instead, we're doing an ad read and some shameless self-promotion. So I am speaking to you from the Dymon Mine, our studio out here in Phoenix, Arizona. We are equipped here to handle pretty much any kind of media that would go up on your socials, whether that's video or photo, podcasting, interviews, vlogging, run and gun stuff. We have up to 3 angles that we can shoot, and we provide end-to-end production. So any step you need along the way, from lighting, grip, anything from A to Z, or just one specific part, you let me know, reach out, and we will get it done with you. So social medias are at Dymon Mine, DYMON. MEIN. Email is dymonmine@gmail.com. And I think that's everything for now. So if you are enjoying yourself, do me a favor, like, share, comment, all that good stuff, and back to the show. Thanks. Back. All right, so that was Butler's Easy. That's on 7th Street and Butler on kind of the north side of Central Phoenix. And comics, there's no cover or sign-up fee or anything, but there's a 1-item minimum. So I usually go to buy a coffee. I'm not a big alcohol drinker, but and then for customers, audience members, just go in and drink like normal, obviously, right? There's no minimum. Get as taste as you want. Okay, so our final segment tonight, I like to call 2 bits. It's kind of like a my 2 cents thing, my take on some topics, not the end all be all. Don't take this as gospel. I've been on stage kind of all my life. First show I played with a band in front of an audience, I was like 8 years old. I think we covered some Rage and Green Day and stuff like that. But I've only been doing comedy a couple weeks, maybe like a month. I ran an open mic a few years back that I think I mentioned this as it was a 24-hour cafe, super fun. We had music, we had poets, no comedy, right? So I'm not exactly an expert, right? But so I would love to hear your comments. What do you think? I would love to get the general consensus, even if it's not, in alignment with my assessment, right? And this first episode, what I want to talk about is something I call running bits. Do you run bits with your homies and with other comics outside the club? I mean, do you know what I mean? Like, do you go over a joke or a setup? Hey, what do you think? I thought this was funny. What do you think of this? I found that a lot of comics, even at an open mic, we're about to try stuff out. This isn't like a big show, and we're just trying random stuff. A lot of people are very reluctant to do this, and if they do, their feedback almost uniformly is like it, don't like it. I actually had a comic tell me I don't like it. I don't like farts. I don't like farts. That was when I probed him further. You don't like it? What is it about it you don't like? I don't like farts, which, first of all, astounded me that any stand-up comedian would say they just across the board don't like farts, or really anything could be made funny. So just an I don't like just sounded funny to me. But completely aside from that, there was one person, however, that I found that was like, yeah, I'm down. And we went out there, and they were able to give me great feedback. This was strong, that was too long, completely stepped outside of herself to when I gave her, oh yeah, that's really good, I think this and and we kind of started talking to each other about, it was like, oh, well, Well, I thought I was gonna get some good advice from someone who knew it. It's all right. If you're gonna give me advice, it's fine. I'll give it some. And it's, well, I can only do so much with this joke or something, right? So, and that's what I thought comics do. Is we're sparring, right? We're exercising. But I've met a lot of comics who are really afraid to offend other comics or to be offended. They don't want to be offended, and they get so. I don't know. Before I started stand-up comedy, I had a friend who was a comic, and a lifelong friend, and he was a working comic. He toured and stuff. Not a big name, but I would always run bits with him, and maybe it's because we're close. I don't know. But he was always able to, and it wasn't any different. It was the same exact type of feedback. Those two people don't know each other, but it would always be, that's strong, trim the fat here. They know the terms, and they would. So, I don't know. For me, I would love to. It's not that I'm even necessarily going to take the advice, right? But I want the feedback. Let me give you an example. That same buddy I was just talking about, I was running a bit by him the other day, and he had said to me, he had been confused and said, "Oh, I think you got 3 ideas there." I would rewrite that as 3 separate setups, 3 separate individual jokes, maybe separate one-liners instead of one big joke, because he goes, "I didn't even understand what was going from one of the." Now, I didn't do that. But I took from that he didn't, right? There wasn't a good flow from one idea to another. For me, in my head, the way I hear it, the way that it's funny, is one statement that goes through all 3. And so that tells me that instead of writing it as 3 separate jokes, I need to rewrite it so that it's cohesive, right? So again, it's not that I'm just going to do what, the feedback is, right? But at the same time, I still want the feedback, right? I don't know, maybe you don't want the feedback, maybe it's better to get just from the audience, but for me, I feel like I can't go up and ask every audience member afterwards why they didn't laugh at this spot. I just know that they didn't. Why they laughed at this and not at that, or why they laughed at it versus the last time people didn't, or, you know what I mean? Whereas if I ask a comic, I know that they're experienced enough to tell me, right? What's strong and what's not, and or maybe not. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you had a great time, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're gonna take one last ad break before we come with our last little wrap up. It's not really a full segment, but before we come back to wrap up. Stay tuned. Here we are once again. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for sticking around. If you made it this far, right on, I appreciate the support. We are looking for sponsors. So if you're trying to increase your visibility online, reach out to us here and we will be happy to get some ad reads for you, or maybe we could just shoot and play some marketing material for you and we can put it in this ad space here. This is our pilot episode, obviously, but as we grow, the goal is to get bigger and bigger, and this is a great opportunity to increase that visibility, and again, especially for local businesses. Okay, back to the show. We're back. All right, so last segment before we wrap up, I call one-liners, and we're just gonna go over my favorite one-liner of the week. We're gonna do a new one every week, and I love little one-liners, question answers, knock-knock jokes that really make you think. And this week we're doing a science joke. If you guys remember quantum physics, the Schrodinger's cat thought experiment, right? He's like, if I put this cat inside a box where you can't see it, it doesn't exist until you see it again. And quantum physics is like that. I don't know, whatever. But question to the joke is, hey, whatever happened to Schrodinger's cat? Anyone know whatever happened to that cat? Whatever happened to that cat? Do you know? And the answer is, what cat? What cat are you talking? Was there a? I like that joke because no cats were actually harmed in the telling of the joke, but at the same time, a cat was suffocated to death inside a box. That's science. That's just how it works, ladies and gentlemen. I am not the purveyor of the scientific axiomatic truths. I am just the messenger. So don't get mad at me about the duplicitous existence of Mr. Schrodinger's feline companion. All right, that is it for this week. I hope you had a great time. If you did, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, bell icon, all that good stuff. It really makes a hell of a difference, especially this is our first episode. We just want to get in front of as many faces as possible. So thank you so much, and we will catch you next week with hopefully our first guest. And yeah, peace out. Thanks, y'all.